Oh, it is time for another makeup declutter. Today, we're going to be focusing on complexion products, specifically primers. We're going to be talking about color correctors. We're talking about foundations. I have concealers and more. So let's just get started. Alrighty, so we are going to start with complexion products. So I have a little bit of a variety here. So we have primers, we have some BB creams, tinted moisturizers, color correctors, all the fun things. So we're going to start with this bad boy first. So I'm going to talk about what I like about these products, what I don't like, what I'm going to keep, what I'm throwing away, and what I'm going to give away if there's anything left to give away. Now, full disclosure, if you're new here, hi, I'm Cody J. I love to give away products. So I have been giving away a significant amount of my PR for the last 5 years, like I would say a good 93.5% of it, to my followers, my subscribers, and to local women's shelters and other organizations the entire time I've been on social media. So when I am throwing away products, don't feel butthurt about it. I have to throw them away. But like I said, I've been giving away the vast majority of my brand new products the entire time I've ever been getting products. So don't worry about that. Let's start with the Milani Glow Hydrating Skin Tint. So this is in the shade 110 Fair to Light. I have only used this a few times, and from what I recall, I did enjoy this. As with all Milani products, honestly, I just genuinely don't ever have any complaints with Milani products. So this does have 29% squalene in it. So this is going to have electrolytes, coconut water blend. It also has a really nice hydrating complex. This is really great. So this has a sheer to light coverage. It says it melts into the skin for a naturally dewy glow. So I started wearing this when I lived in Ohio, and I had very, very dry skin when I was living in Ohio. And I do remember that this was giving me that really nice dewy finish that I needed. So this was giving that really skin-like finish, and I love that. So I do remember that I was replacing this with the One Size BBB cream, which is obviously, of course, a really different product, but was giving me that same skin-like finish. So I remember that I stopped using this because I really fell in love with that BBB cream from One Size, and I just forgot about this. But now that I'm pulling this out of my vanity, I'm going to start using it again. This does have a 9-month after opening period. So I do need to be careful because it probably is expired. So I'm gonna maybe hold off on throwing this away, but also hold off on using it. So I'm just gonna put it to the side and give it a good smell test and make sure it's okay to use, but we'll go from there. So this is like a maybe. Next we have the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Glotion. This is in the shade 902 Light Glow. I love this product. This is an absolute keep. This is a fantastic product if you're just wanting to give your complexion that really nice glow from within. This is a great multi-purpose product. So you can use it on your skin by itself if you just want that natural lit from within glow kind of moment, but you can also use this underneath your foundation if you want your foundation to have more of that glowy kind of effect. This is a natural glow enhancer, so again, it kind of speaks for itself as far as how to use it. This says that it instantly hydrates and luminizes for an all-over fresh, healthy, naked skin glow. It definitely does that. I've used this quite a few times. Definitely love this. Definitely will be keeping it. Next, we have a primer from One Size Beauty. This is the Secure the Sweat primer. Now, if you're like Cody, I'm pretty sure you don't like primers. I've said it so many times that I'm not a fan of primers, so it maybe sounds a little hypocritical when I'm like, I like this primer, I like that primer. So the thing with primers is at the end of the day, I will always stand by my statement that primers for makeup are very, very low grade skincare products because that's what they are. For me, 99% of the time, I find that on myself and on my clients that skincare works so much better, like proper, real good skincare provides far better results as far as the longevity and the performance of makeup than primers. Primers, at the end of the day, to me, are just products that are sold to just get you to spend more money on the brand, and you just really don't need them. But at the same time, there have been a few primers that I found. I'm not saying that all primers are junk. There's definitely been primers that I found that still do a decent job, and this is one of them. So this is, again, Secure the Sweat. This is going to be great for those oily guys and gals out there, where if you're very oily, this is going to help to keep your oils at bay. So this is going to be something that's good for you. I've used it a few times, not too many times. You can see, obviously, this tube has been worn in a little bit. It did a good job. So, I mean, I don't have too many complaints with this. I will keep it. Now that I'm back in Florida, it's definitely very hot here. So when I'm gonna go out in makeup, I definitely am gonna start sweating a lot more. So this is gonna be probably most products where if I really feel like I need to hold the oils at bay, I'm probably gonna have to bust this bad boy out just because I feel like I'm gonna need it. So I'm definitely gonna keep this just in case. All right, so next is actually a color corrector. This is from LA Girl. This is their Pro Color Foundation Mixing Pigment. So I don't actually use this for my foundation. So this is actually from when I was doing those makeup mixing color theory series on my TikTok and YouTube. So that's the only reason I actually have this. I am pretty good at my color matching and shade matching with my foundation with both myself and my clients. This is great in a pinch if you need to color correct your foundation, of course. But like I said, for me, I don't use this for that purpose. I use it for teaching color theory, so I'm gonna keep it for that alone. I do also have these other 3 shades from the Pro Color Foundation Mixing Pigment from LA Girl. Same reason, keeping them for those color theory and color mixing videos. Let's just finish out the mixing pigment products that I have in this bin. So this is the NYX Cosmetics Total Control Pro Hue Shifter. So this is definitely expired. It's separated so much in this bottle. This is a brown mixing pigment. This is gonna help with color correction and warmth and just changing the overall color and the hue of any of your complexion products. It's just a mess. It's like I said, it's separated a lot. Like it just looks gross. So we're throwing this away. It was a good product when I used it though. Next up, we have the Morphe X Meredith Duxbury Foaming Face Primer. I hated this product. I used it one time, maybe twice, but I'm quite sure it was only one time. I hated how it came out of the bottle. Obviously, like I said, it's a foaming primer. It just comes out very aggressively. I don't like how it applied. I don't feel like it did absolutely anything on my face whatsoever. I feel like this is a gimmick. So I don't want this product anymore. So I am throwing this away. Next up, we have the Makeup Forever Hydra Booster Primer. This has a 24-hour hydration effect. This is step 1 in their line. I've only used this twice. I did not really love it. I feel like the first time I used it, I was like, I feel like I have a sense of extra hydration. And then when I used it again, I was like, no, I just don't really feel like I got a real sense of hydration. I feel like it was just more from the moisturizer I was using and the foundation, because I switched out the actual makeup products that I was using just to get a true sense of the primer itself. And then I also was using it alone to really get a sense of, this just only the product itself to see how it was feeling on my skin, and I just was not getting that sense of hydration. And that's something I like to do too with primers when I do use them occasionally, to truly get a feel of how the product itself feels, is just use this as like a skincare product and see how it feels, because again, these are just basically low-grade skincare products. So if this as a primer is supposed to be super hydrating, you can just apply this on your skin and just see how it wears throughout the day and see if it is super moisturizing. If it's not, then it's not a good moisturizing primer, and this just didn't give me that moisturization like I wanted and like it promised. So for that, I'm throwing this away. Now, if you want a hydrating primer that actually hydrates, this is the Cody Cosmetics Essential Hydration Primer. This was one that actually surprised me, only because, again, not really a big fan of primers as a whole, but this brand, Cody Cosmetics, is a brand that actually thoroughly impresses me time and time again. They are an affordable brand. I love the brand itself. I love everything about them, to be honest. They have not let me down yet, so knock on wood. That's not wood. But this is a hydrating primer. This is vegan. It also has hyaluronic acid in it. It says that it's lightweight and smoothing. It definitely is. This does feel very hydrating on the skin. This is a product that I have tried just wearing it on my skin alone. It is very hydrating, and it also does a very good job at hydrating my skin underneath makeup as well. Feels really, really great throughout the day. Does a great job for that. I'm gonna keep it. Alrighty, so since I have 3 of these Milani primers, I'm just gonna talk about all 3 of them at one time, just so I don't bore you talking about 3 of kind of the same primers throughout this video at different times. So let's talk about all 3 of them. So starting with the Milani Bright Side Illuminating Primer, I have not actually used this too much underneath makeup. So I was actually using this when I was doing some custom makeup videos, and that's why the majority of this is gone. I've used it, I think maybe 2 or 3 times underneath makeup. It didn't really do much as far as brightening. This has vitamin C and vitamin B in it, but it just didn't really do much on my skin as far as like actually improving my complexion. There's virtually nothing left in this. There's like maybe this much left in it, so I'm just gonna toss this. The Skin Quench Hydrating Primer. This has hyaluronic acid and coconut water in it. This also has a new and improved formula and comes with 50% more in the bottle. This definitely did hydrate my skin. I have about this much left in it. I've used a decent amount. This is one of those products where this is good as just a genuine skincare product. Milani always comes through. They are a great brand. Definitely love this. So I will be keeping this product. The Milani No Pore Zone Mattifying Primer. This has lily and bamboo extract in it. This also has 50% more product in it, which is great because who doesn't want more product in the products that they're buying? So this also, I've only used about this much of it, so there's still a good amount in it. But if you're someone who is oily, you would probably like this because it is mattifying. It's going to keep those oils at bay, and this is supposed to help to reduce the appearance of pores. I am one of the lucky people who doesn't really have a lot of noticeable pores on my face. So as far as like the pore minimizing effect, it's not something that really benefits me just because Like I said, I don't really have those types of issues, if you want to call that an issue. But as far as the mattifying, I do need that from time to time. Skin changes, especially with, time of the year, where you live, things like that. Sometimes I'm really oily, sometimes I'm really dry. So if I do need something to help me keep oils at bay, mattifying products are my best friend. But for me, I usually use a matte finished foundation to keep that kind of under control. So I don't typically need primers for that type of thing. But if I do once in a blue moon, then I can use something like this, but I will keep this. Next up, we have the Lottie London Bubble Tea Primer. So this is a hydrating primer. Now, I kept this originally because I just thought this was super fun. It looks really, really cute. I love the little bubbles in it. I only used it one time. It did feel nice on my skin, but I don't really think that I noticed a lot of hydration throughout the day, especially underneath my makeup. I really just, like I said, kept it because it looked really cute. Like I said, obviously a million times, and we'll probably say it a few more times, I'm not really, in need of primers to, an extent. Again, I'm huge into my skincare and really, really prep my skin thoroughly with skincare prior to makeup. So if I need hydration, I get it from my actual skincare. So I need to stop just keeping stuff because it looks pretty. So this is one of the things where I'm just going to get rid of it because I just don't need it. Like I said, only used it one time. So I'm going to put this in my give to a family member or friend pile. So we're going to put that there. So next up we have the Milani Supercharged Brightening Under Eye Tint. So this is in shade 120 Peach. I used this quite a few times. This was really, really good. As far as brightening, it did a decent job because it's obviously tinted and that did great for me. I do have rather noticeable dark under eye circles. One, because I never sleep. Y'all know that by now. Literally don't sleep at all ever. And two, hereditary reasons. And it did a good job at that. This is great on its own if you're not wearing makeup at all, but also it does a good job if you want to do a little bit of this underneath your concealer, let it dry a little bit, then apply your concealer and then the rest of your makeup. Does a great job. This is very, very expired at this point. This has a 6-month after opening period, and I've had this for quite a long time, so unfortunately I have to throw this away. Next up, we have the new One Size Beauty Secure the Glow Tacky Hydrating Primer. Now, this is one of those primers where I actually was thoroughly impressed, and it's not that I hate to say that because I just really don't like, I obviously don't like primers, but I was just really impressed, and it takes a lot to impress me when it comes to primers. If there's primers that do an okay job, I'm like, okay, that's fine. But this was one I was like, wow, I really like this. It is definitely, it's not super tacky, but you definitely do get a little bit of tacky. It's not like, the Milk Hydro Grip by any means, but there's a little bit of tackiness to it, but it does feel very, very hydrating on the skin. If you're oily, I would not recommend this whatsoever, but if you're more on the dry side, I would definitely recommend this. But yeah, I will definitely keep this. I really thought this was a great primer and just good for prepping the skin for sure. I definitely enjoyed this, and it's a fun experience. The last primer I have is also from One Size Beauty. This is the Secure the Blur Makeup Magnet Primer. This is going to be good for blurring your skin. I've had a good experience with this overall. Actually, One Size Beauty has really impressed me the last year, 2 years, something like that. When I first tried out their products, I just didn't really get the hype and didn't really have a good experience, but I feel like as time went on and they really worked on their product formulation and overall product development, they started impressing me. I don't reach for this product too often because, again, more than anything, because it's a primer and I don't really reach for primers too often, obviously, but I don't have really a reason to get rid of this, so I'll keep it. You never know. Next, let's move on to concealers. Now, for concealers and foundations, I don't have a ton of these just because I know what I like, what works for me, and I don't like to have a lot of them sitting around just because, more than anything, my skin tone doesn't really change because I don't go out in the sun, so I just don't really have a need to change them a lot. Like I said, I know it works for my skin. You know what I mean? And why change something that works for you? Anyway, so these are the Cody Cosmetics Double Time Full Cover Concealers. These are great. I think they're just $10, like $8 or $10, something like that. They're very, very affordable. I use these a lot. Both of them are almost out. So this is in the shade Light Tan, and this was in the shade Fair Neutral. So usually I start off with light tan. This is basically the shade that I use for all of my concealer. And then for my under eyes, I'll dot a couple little dots of fair neutral just for that added brightness. But these blend out very, very nicely. They're very, very creamy. It's definitely a full coverage concealer. They are very, very good. I have zero complaints with these. These are definitely more so my holy grail concealer right now. I have absolutely no complaints with these, so I'm definitely going to keep these. Up next, the Ofra Cosmetics Perfect Cover Concealer in the shade Natural. I've used this twice and it just did not work well for me. I didn't find it easy to blend out. I found it very dry on my skin and I found it very creasing. It creased very, very quickly for me, and normally that's not an issue for me at all. Everyone's gonna have a little bit of creasing when it comes to complexion products, especially concealer, especially their under eyes, because we obviously have movement on our skin because, we're human beings beings, not robots, but this creased unnaturally quickly, and I didn't obviously like that, as nobody would. So for those reasons, I'm going to throw this away. Up next is one of my original Holy Grail concealers. This is the NYX Cosmetics Born to Glow Radiant Concealer in the shade Vanilla. So there is virtually no concealer left in this, but somehow I squeezed just the tiniest amount out just to somehow use it. This is one of the best concealers I've ever used. It blends like a dream. The coverage is beautiful. It has a gorgeous natural finish. I have no complaints whatsoever, and I wish I had a lifetime supply of this. It's just such an incredible concealer. Actually, I take it back. The only complaint I have about this is the amount of product you get. I wish it was like double the size. I wish it was in the amount that you get in the foundation, which is also a holy grail of mine, but this is an incredible concealer, and I'm still just going to hold on to this and squeeze out, even though I really can't get much out of it at this point. I'm just going to hold out and hold on to it for now. Up next is the Makeup Forever HD Skin Concealer. I don't like this concealer at all. I just don't. I've tried to like it. I've tried it a few times. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't blend out. It dries down so fast. And for me, I like to apply my concealer on all the areas of my face, my forehead, under my eyes, my nose, everything, and then blend it all out. And it dries down way too fast, and I can't do that. Also, I really don't like when concealers claim that they are like anti-crease and all that kind of stuff. Like, you can't make a concealer that's crease proof. It's just not possible because, again, the skin moves, it's going to crease, period. So this has got to go. Alrighty, the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Magic Star Concealers. I have had these since they originally came out. For those who care, because obviously some people care, I have not purchased any Jeffree Star Cosmetics products in, oh my God, I couldn't tell you. It's been an extremely long time. I don't buy his products anymore. I don't talk about his products anymore. All the things. So take that as you will. These have just, like I said, been in my collection, I guess, like I said, since they came out, which is, I don't even know when that was. It was forever ago, obviously. So these are extremely expired, which is why, one, don't use them, and two, they got to be thrown away for that reason alone. As far as, we can just talk about them, I guess, obviously, because they're here. I mean, the component is obviously stunning. It's one of the most beautiful components I've ever seen with a concealer. I mean, how fun is that? The little star, the gems. I mean, this is such a beautiful component. The formula is amazing. That's why I bought them in the first place and kept them in the first place. The formula is amazing. It's a very beautiful coverage. It's very creamy. It blends like a dream. It just was a very perfect concealer. I did want another lighter shade of this back in the day, but obviously I stopped buying from him, so I never bought one. But all of these, regardless, have to go. One, because like I said, I don't buy his products anymore, and two, they're very expired, so bye-bye. All right, lastly, we'll talk about this because it is technically a concealer. I just don't use it for concealer, obviously. So this is the LA Girl Pro Conceal HD High Definition Concealer. I use this for bronzing and contouring. It was just in this bin because it's technically a concealer. Obviously, like I said, I don't use this for concealer, but I have to throw it away because one, it's just not a great product, and two, it's expired, so bye-bye. Alrighty, let's finally move on to some foundation. Alright, like I said, foundations, I only have a few of these because like I said earlier, I like what I like, and I know it works really, really well for my skin, and while I'll try and review new foundations, I'll still always, for the most part, go back to what I know and what I love that looks super, super good on my skin, because why wouldn't you want to stick with what looks amazing on your skin, you know? And I just don't like to have too many options when it comes to foundation and concealer, because I just don't want to. Anyway, the NYX Born to Glow foundation was one of my original, or actually it was my original Holy Grail foundation. They discontinued this foundation, so there's only actually a couple shades that you can even get on the internet anymore. This was in the shade Buff. This was one of the best foundations I've ever used. This is a beautiful radiant foundation. One of the most gorgeous finishes I've ever seen. Super, super natural. It's amazing. The coverage is gorgeous. Everything about this is amazing. There's virtually nothing left in this foundation. The shade itself probably doesn't actually match me anymore. As you can tell, it's kind of dark. This was back when I used to tan many years ago. I don't go out in the sun whatsoever anymore, so it wouldn't match me now, but I keep it just because I love it. So I'm just gonna keep holding on to it like the little mini hoarder I am sometimes, because I just want it, okay? Don't judge me. Next is the Makeup Revolution Skin Silk Luminous Serum Foundation. So I did a full review of this on my YouTube channel. This is an amazing foundation. The finish this gives is so incredible. It is the most beautiful skin-like finish. This looked so, so good. In my review, I talked about how this would look amazing on drier skin, more mature skin. This looks so good. I did a full wear test on this. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think I did like a 9 or 10 hour wear test. Whenever I do wear tests, they are for extended period of time. So it was definitely a longer amount of time, something around 9 or 10 hours, I believe. But it was an amazing foundation. I still do wear this quite often. It is an amazing foundation. So, I mean, I believe I gave this like a 9 or 9.5 out of 10. So I will definitely be keeping this. This is an amazing, amazing foundation. Alrighty, let's talk about the Makeup Forever HD Skin Foundation. So I have two different ones here. Obviously the shade shades are very different. I did not pick the shades out for either of these. They just showed up on my door. So that's why they're very, very different. So the original HD Skin Foundation, first off, the shade does not match me in any way. And the HD Skin Hydra Glow Foundation, this does match me pretty closely. So we'll start with the original. So first off, the original, I do not like this foundation. I do not like how it wears on my skin. I don't like the coverage. I don't like the finish. I really don't like much about this at all. I don't know why it's still in my collection. I didn't dislike it significantly when I first wore it. And the more I continued to wear it and kind of give it a bit more attention and criticize it a bit more, I'm just like, really don't like this. So I am going to throw this away. You know, that's the beauty of makeup is, you know, when you're watching reviews and first impressions, you know, at the end of the day, first impressions are first impressions, and they should change the more you wear products. First impressions are first impressions. You know, you look at products, especially with foundations, I guess specifically, you see what they look like the first time you wear it and, you know, how it performs the first time you wear it. But you're a lot of times going to combine those products with different products the next time you wear it. And, you know, the weather's going to be different. The environment you're in is going to be different. So that product's going to perform differently. So it's like first impressions you should always take with like a grain of salt or grain of sand, whatever the phrase is. I can never remember. But like, that's why first impressions only should matter so much. And that's why there's a difference between a first impression and a review. A review is after you've used a product many, many, many times, because then you can get more granular with what your opinions are on a product. And that's why a creator and influencer's opinion can change. I mean, let's talk again about this foundation. Like I said, when I first tried it, I was like, it's okay. You know, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the best thing in the world. But after you used it a few times, you can really start seeing the performance of the product and how it, you know, interacts with different products that you're using, and that really changes your opinions on a product. And now I'm just like, trash, bye. So point is if you see a creator, an influencer, or, you know, whatever, create a piece of content on a product, and then maybe 6 months down the road, a year later, they're like, I don't like this product, when originally they did like it, or vice versa, that's probably why. It's not that they're lying, it's that their opinions have changed on a product, and that's not a bad thing. That's kind of a good thing. Anyway, so the Makeup Forever HD Skin Hydra Glow Foundation. This is a good foundation. Again, I don't remember off the top of my head because I do review a lot of products. I don't remember what I gave this as far as a rating. I think I said I gave it like a, I don't know, like an 8.5 or a 9, something like that, but it wore pretty well on the skin. This was definitely great for more dry skin. This is a hydrating foundation, but it was rather good. I did enjoy it. It held up pretty well throughout the day. It did really well, and it did a great job as far as how it interacted with the rest of my complexion products especially. I do recall doing a lot of errands throughout the day. I filmed a lot of other videos. I was in front of all my studio lights and just a lot of things, and it held up pretty well, so I will be keeping this. Now let's talk about my holy grail foundation for the last couple years, my tried and true Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation. I have different shades here because my skin tone back in the day would change a little bit from when I was going in and out of the sun from when I first originally moved to Florida, but my actual shade is 00 Light Natural. This is my go-to shade. This is the one that matches me spot on perfectly. So this foundation gives you a beautiful soft matte finish. The coverage is just so gorgeous. It literally gives you the most perfect natural finish though. I mean, it just looks like skin. I have absolutely no complaints with this. It would be so hard for me to pick a foundation that truly is better than this. I have no complaints whatsoever, and you could never make me give up this foundation. If I could get a lifetime supply of any foundation, it would be this. So this is staying. Alrighty, so let's quickly go through the products that I decided to throw away. So we are throwing away the Milani Bright Side Illuminating Primer. This just really didn't do a good job at illuminating or brightening my complexion whatsoever. We're getting rid of the Makeup Forever HD Skin Concealer. We are throwing away the LA Girl Pro Conceal HD Definition Concealer. We're tossing the Makeup Forever Original HD Skin Foundation. The Morphe X Meredith Duxbury Foaming Face Primer, trash. The Jeffree Star Cosmetics Magic Star Concealers, gotta go. The Milani Supercharged Brightening Under Eye Tint has got to go. The NYX Total Control Pro Hue Shifter Drops has gotta go. I'm really not at all sad to throw away the Ofra Cosmetics Perfect Cover Concealer. This was a dry mess. Getting rid of the Makeup Forever Hydra Booster Primer. This was supposed to be a hydrating primer, just kind of meh, so she's gone. And lastly, I did decide to throw away the Milani Glow Hydrating Skin Tint. I just would rather be safer rather than sorry. It is expired, and it's just not worth infecting my face or anything like that, so she's gotta go. But we did keep a lot of good products, so I'm happy with this declutter. I got rid of a good amount of things and did keep a lot of good products, so I'm happy overall. But that's all I have for you guys in today's declutter. If you enjoyed it, please make sure you give it a big thumbs up down below. Don't forget to click that big red subscribe button to join my YouTube family, and I'll see you guys in the next one.